Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell. It's the holiday season.
It's the holidays.
It's our first holiday doc.
Yeah, we got one more coming up, which is crazy. But yes, this is where we're right into November.
Yeah, I know.
Here we are.
Hi, Julia Benzavalli.
Hi, Patrick Hines.
Hey, fam. Most of you know by now, I'm calling it Patrick's Traveling Book Party.
Okay.
So here's the deal. It's not like a regular live show. It's not a regular live show. It's a cool live show.
Okay, great.
It's going to be like one part party, one part hang sesh, one part book reading, one part game. Every ticket comes with a copy of my book.
Great.
So if you buy a ticket to the event, you get a copy of my book as soon as it comes out. We mail it to you. But basically, I'm going to just be in the audience hanging out. Normally, I'm like backstage before a live show. Not this time. I'm hanging out with the people.
Amazing.
And then I'm doing a reading of a chapter of my book. And then I'm going to stay and do pictures with everybody all night. There's a VIP option. There's a regular option. That's happening.
Great.
Also, join us on the Patreon.
Yeah, I'm coming to wherever the New York one is. I'm coming.
The Bell House.
I'll be
And
there.
we're premiering it in New York, baby,
Of
at
course.
the Bell House.
That's right.
Tell them about the Pates.
Oh, wow, the Pates. So that's where you get ad-free versions of the regular episodes like this one, but then you also get like the series, like The Jinx and Making a Murderer and Finding Andrea we just finished. We're doing Woodstock 99, Bad Vegan.
Tons of video content. We've got the live show from Obsessed Fest, the live show from Boston where we did Class Action Park, many of the main stage panels from Obsessed Fest, including the West Memphis 3. Tons of video content.
Yeah.
Follow us on the TikTok and join the Facebook group. That's all.
Okay, that's it. That's all.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell.
She's out of her mind, that one. Babs.
All right, girl, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about, maybe I should open my notes. I just have a blank screen in front of me.
Great.
We are talking about No Good Deed, a crowdfunding holiday heist. It's on Hulu.
Okay. You sound real mad. We haven't even started yet. My first note is we're going to learn about the feel-good story of the holiday season in 2017. That goes south pretty fast.
It does.
A remarkable story of paying it forward is going viral. A New Jersey woman helped by a homeless man after running out of gas.
This really was the feel-good story of the holidays of 2017.
What if we started a GoFundMe for this guy to get him off of the streets, even for a weekend or just a few days, would be so cool.
It was awesome. I was blown away.
This was the largest GoFundMe guarantee payout that the company had done, and I think to this day it is still the largest. And that tells you something.
We started to figure that something was not legit.
The public always likes a feel-good story.
It's a pretty good story.
It's a great story, if it happened.
I do want to say just at the top, we're talking about substance use disorder here.
Yes.
And we're also talking about a person who is unhoused.
Yes.
And so they say the words that we don't say anymore
Correct.
in this. A lot of the reporters, a lot of the news coverage from back then. So like the person with experience can say certain words, but we can't and the reporters can't. So we're going to do our best. But if you hear something that's like, ooh, that's not allowed anymore, we know.
Yes.
We're doing our best, but that's what people were saying back then.
100%. So we're going back to 2017, and like the world was ready for some sort of like feel good moment. Because they tell us like we had just experienced 2 major mass shootings, one in Texas and one in Las Vegas.
And I'm like, that could literally be any time. Like that's the world we live in now, where I'm like, wait, which one?
You want to know what else is the world we live in now? We know somebody who's a survivor of the Las Vegas shooting.
Absolutely. Yes,
Her
we
name
do.
is Ashley Hoff. She made that
She's
documentary,
lovely.
7 minutes.
She's
If you
wonderful.
haven't, we're going to cover it eventually. It's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
It's so good. Go watch it. But how weird is it to know somebody who survived a mass shooting?
Like not very.
I
and
know.
That's really fucked.
But that's why we needed a feel-good story in 2017.
Right. I'm not going to talk about Donald Trump or the clip they play. Let's move on. So here's the story.
Yeah.
We're in Philly, and Kate McClure is driving to meet a friend.
Sure.
She runs out of gas.
Uh-huh.
She's stranded on the side of the road. She's laughing during a televised interview because she's so embarrassed.
She's the one who definitely is like, hey, girly.
Hey, mama. Ugh. That's just because the MLMs have stolen that language.
I'm just also saying that I know I've been in moments where I've said those exact same things. Hey, mama.
Not to me, you haven't.
No, I would
You
never.
know your audience.
I would never speak that way to you.
And look, if you say it to me, I'm not a dick.
Right.
If you're not trying to get me to sell Herbalife or ugly leggings, then just be nice.
Yeah.
If that's your love language,
Hey,
to say,
lady.
hey, mama,
Yes, totally.
to me.
Also,
not a mother.
you could completely say it to me. I'm wide open to it.
I know.
Okay.
I just don't want that to be part of my own vernacular.
No, I agree.
So she's stranded on the side of the road.
Uh-huh.
She's about to walk to the nearest gas station, and that's, wouldn't you know it, that's when she meets Johnny Bobbitt, who's an unhoused veteran experiencing substance use disorder, and his drug of choice is heroin, we learn.
Right, and according to the story...
He walked up and he said, get back in the car, lock the doors, I'll be back.
I just got her gas to help her get back on her way.
And he spends his last $20 buying her a tank of gas, which he walks back and fills up her car with.
And then Kate can't believe it.
Right.
Join the club.
Come on, this is a thing that could happen.
Okay.
Where's your Christmas spirit?
I have plenty.
Okay.
Don't you talk any shit about my holiday spirit. This is my time to thrive.
Aaron!
From October 1st until December, whatever.
You really have been rocking the flannel lately. We're recording our Woodstock episode today. You're really nailing
our first one.
The flans.
Woodstock 99.
Yeah. Anyway.
This is my time.
Okay. Strike it from the record. Holy moly.
No, it's going to live on TikTok forever.
I know.
So Kate can't believe it. Join the club. So she calls Mark D'Amico, her boyfriend, an actual piece of human garbage.
Yeah.
He was on his way to pick her up. She explains what happened. She goes, don't even worry. I'm already on the road again.
Yeah.
So and then Mark goes back the next day to give Johnny $100.
That's $100. I mean, I was ecstatic, I never get that kind of money.
Let's stop for a minute. Let's actually pull over like Kate did.
Yep.
Here's what's not adding up to me. Now, I don't drive.
Yes.
But I would assume that if you're going a longish distance, isn't how much gas you have part of your equation? So she has no gas, no money, and they're saying that Johnny, this unhoused veteran, wouldn't accept any money and instead insisted on buying gas for this absolute stranger.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing they make Hallmark movies about, so I would like to believe it can happen.
But aren't you always aware of how if I'm driving from New Jersey to Philly?
Yes.
Wouldn't you think, do I have enough gas? Do I have money for enough gas?
And especially if you drive a lot, we do have a car, but we don't drive very often. So I don't know. It's hard. I don't know how anybody drives. I was in Los Angeles for 3 days, and everybody I met, I was like, how do you do this?
Oh, yeah.
How do you get behind one of those death machines every single day?
I'm the wrong person to
put
ask.
yourself in life and limb in danger.
Yourself and everyone else on the road.
When I was in LA, when I was at stoplights, I started putting the car in park because I was afraid I was going to forget and take my foot off the brake and run over a kid or a dog.
Oh my God.
I put it in park.
And you didn't.
So
you didn't, no one was injured.
No, I turned the radio down. I paid real close attention.
Let me tell you, Lyft, Uber, any rideshare
doing God's work
will be helpful to you.
Yes.
So Johnny is very happy to accept this $100 the next day.
Sure.
Right?
And he says it's more money than he ever sees.
Right. And so they decide, Kate and Mark, this couple here, they have a great idea.
One day we were just on, going to go and see him again. And then on the way back, we were thinking, what if we started a GoFundMe for this guy, just to get him off of the streets, even for a weekend, or just a few days, would be so cool to tell him.
Let's start a GoFundMe, they say excitedly to each other.
The thing about this is that, these are good instincts. People should do things like this.
I agree.
You
should actually do it and be a nice person, for sure. Then a documentary wouldn't be made about you.
I couldn't agree more. So they launch a GoFundMe.
And they film the whole thing.
Yeah.
They film themselves starting the GoFundMe. We get cell phone footage from it.
Oh my God, you're right.
Come on.
I know. I'm sorry that I wake up in the morning and decide to see the good in people.
Oh, don't you. Don't you.
I'm sorry that I decide to believe that magic is possible.
We are covering this on a program called True Crime Obsessed.
Okay. But the point is, the GoFundMe launches, the local paper picks it up, and according to everybody involved, it just takes off.
Because, like you're saying, how great is that? The world is shit. It's 2017.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, these people had these really great instincts to help this person. I get it.
And it's so funny because, suddenly Good Morning America is calling, and I was like, isn't this how every musical starts?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's essentially Bye Bye Birdie.
Yes. Oh, my God.
Mom,
Mother, Mommy.
Bye Bye Birdie's in my book. There's a whole chapter about the making of our high school production of Bye Bye Birdie.
I know. I love that movie.
It's so good.
I'm gonna watch it later.
Can I just say one more thing? Kate, in this Good Morning America interview, says,
I still don't think that it's hit me. I still feel like I'm watching somebody else do this, this doesn't happen to me or Johnny or Mark or, anybody, right?
Things like this just don't happen for me. I said, is that a slip of a tongue, Kate? Because, nothing has happened for you.
Right.
According to you, this is all happening for Johnny.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Oh, we got her. Oh, we got her. Good.
Nailed her.
So, and so far they've raised like $1,700.
Yeah.
Johnny is saying, this changes my life. He's so happy. And then we're with reporter Chad, who's with us throughout. And
he's kind of a grump in this moment.
Well, because he goes, I'll never forget it. It was Thanksgiving Day. And I know it's part of the gig, but let me tell you, every reporter hates working the holidays.
I mean, everybody who has a job who has to work the holidays hates working the holidays.
Right. And he's like, I know. It's my job. Happy to have it. But it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
So the campaign is getting more and more money. Kate is doing more and more press.
And Chad is like, I hate being at work, but this is my story. This is what I'm doing today.
Right. And they've raised, we'll get to the number in a minute, but they've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. This takes off. This is viral, gone viral.
Yeah.
So there's an interview with Johnny, our veteran here, right? And Kate, this angel. The interviewer, I don't know who she is.
Same.
She's horrifying. She goes,
is there any part of you that worries that you might blow it?
No, ma'am.
You might mess this up?
No, ma'am.
What makes you so confident?
Because mainly this is my one and only opportunity. This is my chance.
this woman's bullying him, basically saying you're going to blow it all on drugs, right? And he's like, no. He goes, look, this is more money than I ever could have imagined having ever. It's $300,000.
Yeah.
So I know how important this is. This isn't just a weekend. This is life-changing money.
Can I just say, if someone gave anybody $300,000, they'd probably fuck it up. The point, and I'm not taking the reporter's side.
Please don't.
Somebody should have helped him figure out what to do with this money.
Kate and Mark.
Yeah, but I don't know that Kate and Mark would know what to do with 300, a windfall of 300.
Sure.
Grand. You know what I mean?
It's just a perfect situation for someone to get taken advantage of.
That's all I mean.
Because someone can come in also and be like, I'll hold your money.
Well, because that's what I'm saying. The reporter is saying you're going to go out and blow this on heroin. That's not what I'm just saying that you did this great. You want this to be actually life-changing. Let's bring somebody in to actually make it life-changing.
It's almost too much money right now.
$1 million%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so because she put the reporter pushes again.
I know.
And she's like, Johnny, just a reminder, 0 to 300,000, you're going to fuck it up.
Right.
Let's be honest here. And he's like, I'm going to try my best.
I'm going to really try not to fuck it up.
Why is she the only asshole not being nice to him right now?
I know. And he says it's like winning the lottery. It's true.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't want that curse of the lottery.
I know.
And so, there's so much money that Johnny is publicly asking people to stop donating because he wants it to go to other causes that need it. And there's this one moment, I know he's been bullied by this woman, but when he's asked about what other causes, I'm reminded of Sarah Palin when she couldn't tell Katie Couric a newspaper.
I know.
Just name a cause. Johnny, just say people like me.
The veterans.
I would accept people like me. That's all. He can't name one.
I know.
And it's not his fault because this woman is browbeating him.
Yes.
But it was like Sarah Palin. Just name a fucking newspaper.
Just one newspaper.
Just say the New York Times.
A single founding father. She couldn't name one.
But Katie Couric bullied Sarah Palin. All right. Moving on.
Now we go to the South, to North Carolina, to meet Johnny's dad, John Bobbitt Sr. Are they related to the Bobbitts?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's not bring that trash into
Right.
this.
But hold on. The music changes.
I know.
We're zooming in on the pull-up of a handle of some rolling luggage. It's cool guy Chad, who hates working on Thanksgiving. It's reporter Chad.
Reporter Chad. I gotta
cool
say,
guy Chad, come on.
Now that you and I have done a couple of these talking head things,
Yeah.
you can tell the lines that have been fed to them for them to spit back at the camera.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that was the moment when everything changed.
Okay, Chad.
You know what I
But Chad, as a reporter, you know Chad comes in with some notes. I got some copy if
100%.
anyone's okay with that. I think this is a good time, then the music swells, right?
You know what?
Then I'm going to say.
I appreciate a guy who comes prepared and likes his job. Do
Absolutely.
it, Chad.
And he was there.
I
Who
know.
better to tell us the story,
100%.
right? So, yes, he's going down to Henderson, North Carolina to meet more about John Bobbitt and his father.
Yeah, and we get Johnny's backstory.
Johnny grew up typical small town kid. Fortunate enough to live on a family farm, and they enjoyed riding their four-wheelers and fishing. Just a pretty normal kid, small town USA.
He liked four-wheeling and fishing. I don't think Johnny and I would have been friends.
No, but
Can you imagine if I had
he's
to...
so nice. Like, I
so
don't...
nice.
But, like, his dad's, like, he got into some trouble here and there. Who didn't?
Right.
Like, he was just a kid.
Whenever they go to these rural places, I'm reminded how lucky I am to not have been made to grow up in one of those places.
You
not
specifically.
Me, yeah, I mean, they look beautiful and
You
they
have
sound
no
great.
interest.
Not even no interest. Like, what would have happened to me? like, you're supposed to go four-wheeling and fishing. What would I have done? Do you think there's, like, a community players in the town of Henderson?
I do.
Okay.
I don't think you have to do the four-wheeling if you don't want to.
Although, what if I had gotten really into four-wheeling?
Then I don't know if you'd be here. So I, too, am grateful.
I know. I could have been a four-wheeler.
Maybe you could have been a four-wheeler and a podcaster?
Who knows?
All right.
Anything's possible.
So after high school, Johnny didn't really know what he wanted to do, so he joins the Marines. And
Yeah.
his family was super proud of him because he goes on to be a paramedic, and then he wanted to be a flight nurse, which is where they fly you in for emergencies.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the pictures of Johnny back then because the only images we see of Johnny to this point in the documentary are of him like living on the street.
Right.
And he's, he looks like a guy who's like having a rough life.
Right.
So to see these pictures of him as a paramedic back before things took a turn, it's kind of amazing to see like what he looked like. Because he also has like a really thick beard, so you can't even see his face.
And he also just has the biggest smile. Like, it's clear he has a big heart. Like, all he wants to do is help people and like do good in the world. And so his dad is surprised and heartbroken that he ended up in this situation all the way in Philly from North Carolina.
We see a picture of him with a dog over his shoulder. You don't want to talk about it?
I thought it was adorable. I don't know the dog's name.
Well,
so
I made the note. The dog does not get a lower third.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's only so much I can talk to.
No,
the dog's amazing.
Yes.
I think it's great.
Yes.
I wish it well. I'd love to kiss it on the head, but I can't. So we got to move on. It's like scratching bear's ears. We can't do it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I really don't know.
Now you're on the train. Now.
I blame you for this. I've been watching these TikToks where like bears are like stalking these people in the woods. Then like you can't even get mad when they try to eat the guy because you just want to like at least you're gonna go down scratching the ears.
Right.
You
And
know
also,
what I mean?
it's their house.
It's their We were talking about this before we
You
started.
are trespassing.
I feel like the woods is common ground. I feel like we're also allowed to go in the woods.
Who was there first? The bears? Yes.
I don't today, but like at the beginning of time, I don't know.
The indigenous people were there first. And the bears. And they were nice to the bears. They treated animals much better than we ever did.
That's true.
Also, this fucking whistling. Okay. This whistling, I'm sorry.
I know.
Like, this woman is great, but she needs to stop making that goddamn sound.
Well, I have a really good whistle. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me. My name's Ronnie Sue Kaiser. I am a certified recovery specialist.
She's a certified recovery specialist, right?
Yes.
So what she's saying is she would go down to where Johnny would be and bring snacks and check on all the unhoused people with substance use disorder. And she's
like,
great.
Really, she is great, but she is a lot.
So whistling.
I know. Because she would do that thing where she would it's like in the old timey times when they would do the thing with the triangle. You know what I mean? And like that's how you rustle up the people for dinner.
Okay.
That's what she.
The triangle.
Like what they would do on the porch, where Ma would go out on the porch
Like
and
the
she'd do
dinner call.
The dinner call.
Okay.
That's what's her name is. That's what Ronnie Sue Kaiser is
so
doing.
she's trying to get everyone's attention to know that she's here. But Ronnie, you're not doing that right now.
And
you
also,
have a microphone on you.
And also the whistling feels a little rude.
I think whistling in public is incredibly rude. And when you do it to be as loud as possible, like Ronnie Sue.
Wait, what was the inciting incident in your life when you just decided that whistling in public was rude?
I don't know. Someone was whistling near me, I guess, out in the world. I think it's just a rude thing to do when you...
Rude is such a specific emotion to feel about somebody whistling outside.
When you are... It's not just outside. If you are in a shared space and you just like start whistling, I think that's rude.
Okay.
I've said it before. Sometimes people reach out and tell me that they're exactly like me and that they feel that also. I'm not alone in this.
Anyway, I love Ronnie Sue. I think
she's doing good work. I want to make that clear. This is a me thing. She's doing excellent work.
She even acknowledges she has a very strong whistle. She thanks her dad for that.
Okay. But she just keeps whistling. Do it once. And there's no warning. It's like she just keeps doing it. She's very, very proud of it.
You're right.
I really can't handle it.
But she met Johnny at a local grocery store and they have this cute back and forth.
And I said, hey, do you want something to eat? And he said, yes, ma'am. And I started laughing and said, ma'am. I said, wow, you're not from here. And he said, No, I'm not. And I said, what's your name? He said, Country. I said, oh, okay, that explains that.
They call him Country, and he was super polite, and he's just like an all-around good guy. So we meet his friend RJ, who is in recovery, and sort of like explains this local scene that they were both in.
Yeah, and he's saying that like Ronnie Sue is amazing because she'll just kind of show up and have whatever people need.
Right.
Food or like personal hygiene stuff or just a hug if that's all you wanted. Right. And he's saying that like what's unique to this community of people experiencing homelessness together is that they all look out for each other. And like Johnny is super trustworthy, which I guess they say is not that common in communities like that.
Right. And also Johnny was very good at panhandling.
Right. So RJ, I don't know what he means exactly, but he like when RJ does a bunch of jobs during the day, like he maybe does odd jobs or whatever, RJ will come back to the encampment where they're all staying and Johnny will be there and Johnny will have made $200 panhandling, which is more money than RJ made like doing odd jobs.
Right.
Like that's more money than I would make bartending some nights.
Yes, absolutely.
You know?
Easily.
Yeah. Johnny is very charming. And I can see how like when you're stopped and he comes over and like knocks on your window, you're like, I am going to give you money. Like you seem so nice.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
There is just something about him. You know, there's a reason why this story happened around him.
Right.
You know?
He was perfect for this heist. You know what I mean? For this little scheme.
Yeah.
So, but Johnny, we learned, you know, his dream location was he wanted to just like move off to Alaska and he was embarrassed.
They show like B-roll of Alaska. And I get it. It's pretty.
It's gorgeous.
But why would anyone want to go there?
Johnny wants to go there. Let him live.
Okay, fine. Like you can want to go there, but like I will never understand the appeal.
I totally
It's just
do.
a whole bunch of the outside with the rocks and the water and the trees.
And the
and the trees.
The bears.
I just don't understand. Like
Lots of bear ears. Lots of bear ears.
Those
to scratch.
ears really are.
I know.
It's not okay. It's not right.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
I understand.
Do you think when the veterinarians have to feed them and they have to give them a tranquilizer or whatever to wash them, maybe they scrub the ears a little?
I would go in for an actual bear hug if I knew he's out for the next like 10 minutes, right? Can I hug her?
How did Jillian die? You know what? That tranquilizer wasn't strong.
It wasn't strong enough. She fell asleep on the fucking bear. And the bear woke up and rightfully mauled her to death. I would just be like this, and he would be so big, and his chest would just go up and down, and I'd be sound asleep. And then one moment, he or she would wake up and then just go, lunchtime, and then I'd be gone. And that would be the end of me.
Do you riding the bear belly nap?
Well, I'm laying on it, and they're just breathing. Like, and so then I'd be like this, and then I would just be moving. It would like rock me to sleep a little bit because they're breathing.
The visual, I'm tired of hearing you say you don't have TikTok. You gotta go watch that. Whatever you do, you gotta go watch that.
And that's how I die. And once again, Mike will be like, shit, I knew it.
Oh my God.
He'll go, what was it? A bear or a wolf? A bear? Got it.
Was
All
it
right.
trank time? Yeah.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Oh my God.
But anyway, that's how I'm going to go.
Yep.
Well, Johnny was really embarrassed about his situation, which
Yeah.
is not, you know, so he shuts himself off from his friends and family. And like his dad, who we're with, didn't know where he was before this story went viral.
Well, we're with the dad again, and he's just saying,
As sad as it may sound, whether he's dead or alive, we didn't know. And until a person that is in that situation wants to get help, there's nothing you can do.
you can't make a person go into recovery. Like, you can't drag them there. They have to want to do that.
They have to want to go. Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. And so he was, cutting himself off because he didn't want them to know what was really going on,
Yeah.
And so it's just all heartbreaking. And then, the dad's saying, well, we don't want to be enablers. It's just hard on everyone. We were just talking about this on
The
Finding
dad
Nemo,
is
yeah.
crying, and I have a note to you that I says, I thought this was a holiday movie.
I know. It's not.
Okay.
It's a true crime version of a holiday movie. But now, after one very staged, hey, what do you say? Want to work on this together call? Reporter Chad teams up with producer Cheryl.
So this call in Cheryl's car is just the two of them, like, getting ready to see each other in 3 minutes.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't make any sense.
Very staged and not very well staged.
No.
It's just very staged.
Yeah, so producer Cheryl is on the case.
But what happens is they get this anonymous email about the GoFundMe saying it's all a scam. Look into Kate and Mark. Like, nothing is as it seems.
Yeah, and so I just wrote, like, because of course we can't have anything fucking good. The message has no return email, no phone number. And so Cheryl says we begin where you begin trying to solve any mystery on everyone's social media.
Right. And boy, do they hit the jackpot. Pun intended.
Because
Mark, we'll get to
people are so stupid. Stay stupid. Yeah. If you're going to rip off hundreds of thousands of dollars from people just trying to help.
$400,000 after you said you were going to change this person's life.
Can you just not put it on your Instagram?
So here's what's on their Instagram.
Yeah.
We found pictures of a helicopter ride over the Grand Canyon, a New Year's Eve party at a swanky casino hotel in Las Vegas, and multiple expensive steak dinners.
And then there's the picture of Kate McClure posing with her very expensive Louis Vuitton handbag.
Helicopter rides where Mark goes, rides here. Shut up, Mark.
It's like a helicopter over the Grand Canyon. Why would you put this on your Instagram?
The Louis Vuitton bags.
Yeah.
And really, at the center of all this, gambling and casinos.
Yes. Oh, and also multiple expensive steak dinners.
Of course. Rides here. Well, shut up, Mark. God.
I know.
But the gambling in casinos is important because Mark is a gambling addict.
Okay, maybe this is like stupid, but like something I was thinking about during this whole thing was like we are so money obsessed as a society because we are so unequal. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Like not even just Johnny like experiencing homelessness, but like Mark and Kate, like we learned that they don't make very much money either. And like they wouldn't be ripping people off if the rich didn't have to be so fucking rich.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And this whole like, I think it also goes back to the Instagram versus reality thing, like this curated life that she's bragging that she has this stuff.
Because like they know what they're doing is stupid. They know they're ripping off these people who made these donations and they know they're going to get caught, but they cannot help themselves from putting it on Instagram so that for 1 minute, people they know tangentially are going to be jealous of them.
So they get the like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because we learned...
Mind you, we know Kate McClure is a secretary for the state of New Jersey making roughly $40,000 a year. And we know Mark D'Amico, he's a self-employed contractor working job to job.
No shade to either of those things, but what they're saying is the lifestyle isn't matching the paycheck.
Exactly.
So how are you getting on the helicopter? How are you gambling? Why are you at this Wolfgang Puck's restaurant 10 times or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
We're back with reporter Chad. He's trying to track them down. He's trying to get answers to these very questions. Kate's not talking. Mark's not talking. Johnny is said to be living on their property in a camper.
So Chad and Cheryl go to the property.
This is so wild. They decide they're going to like stalk Mark and Kate and Johnny outside of where they live. So Kate just calls the cops.
The cops show up. Chad and Cheryl are there on their little stakeout.
Yeah.
They're playing stakeout.
Like midday stakeout.
Quickly, police showed up. Cop came walking up. I talked to him, told him what we were doing. He just laughed at us, and it appears told Kate and Mark.
The cop laughs at them, turns around, tells Mark and Kate everything, and Mark and Kate just bail. They leave their property.
I would expect more of Chad. Chad feels like...
Chad, listen, what are you,
maybe
day
there's
one?
a reason you're working
here?
Thanksgiving, Chad.
Oh, God.
You know?
But then Kate then sends the reporters a DM. Leave us the fuck alone.
Also not a bright move, Kate. You know what I mean? Just, if you're not going to engage, don't engage.
Right.
Because what you want the world to believe, Kate, is that you did this really nice, amazing thing.
But
Why are
she
you
did
swearing at the
engage for
reporters?
so long.
Yeah.
She did. They were in front of every television camera that would have them.
Right.
So now Johnny is living on the property or whatever, and Chad and Cheryl can't talk to him, and then they learn that Johnny's actually not living at the property anymore.
Yeah, and like months and months go by, and Chad is saying that like they're searching for Mark and Kate and Johnny everywhere, but can't find them. And then just before Labor Day 2018, something happens that Chad says he'll never forget.
Yeah, this is when the story breaks that Johnny is still unhoused and he never got the money. It's been almost a year.
Yeah.
And there was $400,000. Where do you think it went? Go on Mark's Instagram. He gambled it away.
I mean, and so Johnny is saying in this like local TV news interview,
I have to ask them for everything. It was kind of, in the beginning it was a joke, like they were like my parents. But the joke stops being funny after a while.
it was like a joke, like they were my parents.
Yeah. That's disgusting.
I mean, can you imagine, like, in the story that we know so far, they were trying to help this man who was really down on his luck and then, like, basically making him beg for the money that they got for him?
Right, because Johnny says something interesting. He goes, well, at first we had a plan.
Yes.
And then as time went on, the plan was still there, but it wasn't my plan. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Because suddenly there's a judge's ruling, and the judge wants to take all of the GoFundMe money, and they want an accounting of every single penny.
Yeah, and I also love that, like, in this moment, this story hits the papers for 5 seconds, and every high-powered attorney in fucking Pennsylvania comes out of the woodwork to work with Johnny.
For free.
For free. Which is great, but it's also, I don't know. What are the motives?
Everyone's going to go viral on this. And it's like, but at the same time, that's like, okay, you can lend your services to this guy for free, and also you get good press out of it. Like, is this a victimless crime? Maybe.
Right.
The lawyers, right? So Johnny now sues Kate and Mark.
Right.
And he says that he's only ever gotten a total of like $75,000 from them, you know, on that weekly little allowance situation.
But, you know, the other thing I'm thinking of, like, we did Obsessed Fest Year 1 was funded in part mostly by GoFundMe, right? There's a lot of fucking tax liability there. Like, people have to, like, you can't just take that money and run. Someone's got to come in and help you.
Well, yeah, this case is a big part of why that is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because everyone's like, where's the other $325,000? I'm like, it's all over their Instagram. It's not hard to see where this money went, right?
Right. It's like a big shock to everybody.
Like,
right? He's in a helicopter. He's calling his car.
And now Mark and Kate go on the Megyn Kelly show to defend themselves. Now, Megyn Kelly sucks, but I have to say she does push them here.
Yes.
But she's not great. Megyn Kelly asks them,
why didn't you just cut him a check? Why didn't that happen?
Well, in the beginning, it was as simple as he didn't have a bank account. He had no documents.
And they said, well, he didn't have a bank account. Mark?
Right.
You walk into any financial institution with $400,000, I promise you they will open up an account in 2 seconds.
But you also wouldn't be doing right by him if you did just that.
Get a trustee!
Yes, you got to get a trustee. You got to hire an attorney to help him figure out what to do. Like, if he wants the money, then give him the money however he wants it. But if he wants advice on how to be able to actually live off this money for the rest of his life, you got to help this guy.
I agree. And so again, I'm not in the business of defending or justifying Megyn Kelly and her, like, Santa can only be white bullshit.
Right.
But she does make them say on the air several things. They're on the record. We didn't do anything wrong. We never used a single penny for ourselves. Every time we gave Johnny money, he bought drugs. And now they start blaming everything on drugs, which is just like, it's not only not true, but it's such a shitty move to kick this guy when he's down. Fuck off.
100%. And then, like, we learned that he was living in a camper on their property, but the camper was purchased with the GoFundMe money, but purchased in Mark and Kate's name.
Right.
Like, they bought a camper for themselves and let him live in it.
And also, Mark is a compulsive gambler, so when you have a disorder like that, I wouldn't throw stones, Mark. A vice is a vice is a vice. You can lose your mortgage with gambling or with heroin. So, Mark, don't look down your nose.
And, like, of course, they say just a few days after the Megyn Kelly interview, we learn all the money's gone. There's no money. It's gone.
Gone. So now Scott, the prosecutor's here.
Yes.
He hates Mark and Kate so much.
Yeah, he's the guy that was responsible for investigating and prosecuting the GoFundMe scam. And he says
during that week, when we saw that money was gone, that's why we made sure that we put together an affidavit to get a search warrant very quickly and get in that house to get that evidence.
We moved really quickly. We got a search warrant. We got into their house. And he says, like, while they're in there searching the house, Mark is trying to look, like, cool, calm, and collected out, pretending to, like, hit golf balls on the front.
He's, like, working on his form.
I know.
Mark, shut up.
I know.
And Prosecutor Scott's like, look, Mark is an arrogant prick. Like, no one's disputing that. He's always been that way, even when they were raising the money. And Prosecutor Scott's like, oh, Mark is acting like this isn't a problem. I'm going to make it his problem.
It was so like Joe Francis, the Girls Gone Wild guy. You know what I mean? It's just like that, like, nothing can touch me. I'm untouchable. What do you do? Like, when we're going to learn, like, what this scam actually was, and when you realize you're caught, like, what do you do?
Right. You, like, don't go to Vegas and buy steak dinners.
Also now, outside of Kate and Mark's house, we see reporter Chad chasing Kate's car down the street.
Chad, it's not working.
Kate, where'd the money go?
They're on to you, Chad. Now, this is something, I'm going to give a trigger warning here because Kate has secretly recorded Mark, and now we really get to hear what a piece of shit he is.
Because things between Mark and Kate are tense.
It's real. He is, like, this could be really triggering if you've ever been in, like, any kind of abusive relationship. The way he's talking and screaming and name-calling, it's really bad.
Yeah.
But also ABC, so this is like an ABC News special, but it's on Hulu.
Uh-huh.
And so ABC is doing this weird thing where they're censoring the closed captions, but not the audio.
I know.
And I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
No, and like what Kate is trying to get him to say, he doesn't know he's being recorded. She's trying to get him to say, like, this was all your idea and you made me do it. Yeah, exactly.
But the way he's calling her a weak slug, he's just like cursing.
Oh, it's terrible. But he's saying to her, like, even if it did start out as his idea, he's like he's a piece of shit. He's the worst. I'm not defending him.
Of course.
But he's saying, like,
you want to know how much money you spent? Oh, just off the top of my head?
Go.
20,000 BMW, 5,000 Disney, 10,000 in bags. We both went to Vegas, right? Huh? So just right there is 40,000.
You spent only $5,000 on a Disney trip?
Right?
I feel like that should be the most expensive thing on the list.
Isn't that like the day pass where you can cut the line or whatever? I don't know about Disney stuff.
Have
but
you
it
ever
feels,
been to Disney?
The last time I was at Disney, I was a teenager, I think.
I can't. Steve said to me the other day, I'm so glad we are not Disney gays.
Is that like a thing?
Disney gays
I know
is like
they're
a whole thing.
Disney adults that people seem
Disney
to get very
adults,
upset about for some
it's
reason.
true,
Like, who
but
cares?
Also, Disney gay adults. It's a whole
is that right?
subculture. Yep.
Oh, okay. And
Very
they just
strange.
enjoy They're
they're
their
gays
thing.
that love Disney. That's the extent of what I know about them.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Like what you like.
Like what you like.
As long as it's, consensual.
But like, Kate, even if it was Mark's idea, you spent some of the money.
Right. I still but then Mark gets violent with Kate. I hate this fucking phone call so much.
Yeah.
And he's a colossal nightmare. Like, he's super fucking garbage.
Yes.
And so now, the lawyers are going through their financial records, and all the finances are like, oh, another casino. Oh, another ATM withdrawal. Oh, another shopping spree at Louis Vuitton.
I mean, and it's cutting to Johnny, and Johnny's like, yeah, I knew they were spending the money, but I didn't know if I had any legal standing or any legal right to it.
And Mark, so we heard Mark secretly recorded. He talks that way to everybody. He's bullying and screaming at Johnny. He's saying, I'm going to expose you. He's such a fucking bully. Then we're back with Ronnie Sue Kaiser, who thank God is not whistling anymore. But she goes, you know that saying WTF? And I'm like, I do, Ronnie. Go on. Is that all? And then we're not with Ronnie anymore.
What's happening here is that everyone is starting to say this is a scam, and also it looks like Johnny might be in on it.
Because what Ronnie says is, she goes, look, someone in Johnny's position.
So she's hearkening back to the original origin story that
Kate broke
down, and he took his last $20 to go get her a tank
complete
of gas.
stranger, whatever. And remember, Ronnie Sue is a certified recovery specialist.
Yes,
so
she knows of what she speaks.
And she says,
first of all, no one who's panhandling is going to give their last $20 away. No one. They're not giving their last $20 away. You could be dying on the street. They're not giving you that last $20. So that raised an eyebrow for me.
Someone in Johnny's position wouldn't give their last $20 away to a stranger to buy gas.
She says specifically a panhandler.
Yeah.
Whether that's a word we're supposed to use or not, that's what she says. And so she's saying somebody who was right, like it's his last $20. He is also living with addiction. The story doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
The bottom line is Ronnie Sue believes that Johnny's involved. That to me is a major thing. She's such an advocate for these people.
Right.
And for her to be saying to us the story that Johnny is telling doesn't make any sense.
Right. Exactly. So now the lawyers are here to go through all the texts and DMs on Mark and Kate's phone. There are over 60,000 exchanges relevant to this case.
People are so stupid. Stay stupid, but why are you so dumb?
And they're so dismissive of Johnny.
I
and
know.
They're texting about what they did with the money. So in other words, these two are making it very easy for the lawyers.
Yes.
Especially when Kate very plainly told her BFF what they did less than an hour after the GoFundMe went live. So Kate is saying, and I'm just going to read this.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, the gas part is completely made up, but the guy isn't. Kate says, I had to make something up to make people feel bad, so shush about the made up part. Don't shush anybody, Kate. Who the fuck do you think you are?
But then the BFF was like, that story's gonna backfire, girl. They're gonna interview this guy someday. You gotta make sure he knows what to say. Now the best friend is in on it.
And also, but the best friend, this censorship and this is so weird because
I know.
The text says this gas story is gonna backfire LMFAO, and ABC or Hulu blurred LMFAO, but it's a bad blur job, so I can very clearly see that it's LMFAO. I can hear Mark calling Kate every name of the book and cursing, but you're going to censor LMFAO?
I know.
Laughing my fucking ass off.
I know. The friend is also saying, why don't you donate some of that money and get the public off your back, right? Because the friend is saying, everyone's looking at you, girl.
Right.
Everyone's follling you on Instagram. We all know
It got too big.
It got too big.
And Kate goes, I'll be keeping the rest of the money. Fuck you very much.
How about that?
Kate.
You're going to yell at the girl you just told your big fucking secret to?
And her friend just goes, he could out you.
I know.
Friend, good for the friend.
I can out you. Don't fucking
exactly.
Fuck you very much to me.
In my notes, I just go, damn, Kate sucks.
I know. So we're back with Chad, the reporter, and he's saying the critical questions remain. How did Kate and Mark meet Johnny?
Mm-hmm.
Whose idea was this heist or whatever? And what was the extent of Johnny's involvement?
So here's what the prosecutor says happened.
Yeah.
The prosecutor says
they had met Johnny on the side of the road, and it could be something literally as simple as offering him money as he was panhandling on an off-ramp. And whether it was, I think it was over the course of time, they made frequent visits to the Sugar House Casino, which I believe is close to that area. And they did start striking up a conversation and a relationship with him.
The thing that's so important to know is that Johnny, his like panhandling area was very close to a casino that Mark and Kate frequent.
Exactly.
So like, of course they drove by him a bunch of times because Mark is a gambling addict. We're not saying that. That's what comes from the documentary.
Right.
So Mark was going to this casino morning, noon, and night.
And so the prosecutor is saying, maybe they offered Johnny some money to take part in the scam, like give him a cut of the money.
Because they'd gotten to know him. Like they'd seen him. It's like what I was saying earlier. There's something about this guy. They probably once or twice did stop and give him a couple of bucks.
Right.
And then they're like, oh.
He's perfect for this.
He's perfect for this.
And like, maybe they felt something for him, but they also saw an opportunity, says the lawyer. And
Yeah.
also like, if you're Johnny, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really begrudge him from thinking like, well, I need this money anyway, and these people are going to give it to me. Like, I can understand why he's saying like, well, it's true enough.
And he's also, I'm sorry, but like he's a person living with addiction. And so I don't think that all of his choices are in his own control.
There's
he's
no
doing
way,
what he needs to do.
Of course, he's surviving.
Yes, exactly.
And like, there's no way that he was like, hey, Mark and Kate, like this was definitely Mark's idea.
100%.
Kate saw some dollar signs.
Yeah.
Mark is an abusive piece of shit.
Well, and the question is kind of like, was Kate, so did Mark come up with it? Because Mark's going to the casino all the time and he knew Johnny and they came up with it together and Kate came in later to be the face of it.
Right.
Like that's the other thing that's thrown around here.
Right. But they also were thinking like, oh, let's definitely film us going like pressing like submit on the GoFundMe. Like they knew what was going to work online.
But they also, the cops dig up this other thing from 2012. So this is a couple of years before. Johnny has a Facebook page and they find a posting of him when he was living in North Carolina telling the story about a woman that ran out of gas and blew a tire in front of a Walmart.
So this girl ran out of gas and has a flat tire at the same time in front of Walmart and is blocking traffic. Everybody blows the horn and cusses her. But of course, no one helps her. So I run to gas station and then change her tire. I spent the only cash I had for supper, but at least she can get her little children home safe.
I ran and got her a tank of gas. I came back and I fixed her tire and like sent her on her way.
And he says, and I quote, I spent the only cash I had for supper, but at least she can get her little children home safe.
So they're saying, did Johnny help concoct the story about the lady running out of the gas because he lived through it once, or maybe he's made it up before? It's all too convenient.
And it's also like, we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
Did the 2012 story actually happen?
Right.
Did Kate and Mark know about this?
Yeah.
Is this something Johnny does? Like, we don't really know.
The point of all of this is sadly to say, it's pretty clear Johnny was definitely involved.
And now Johnny is like feeling the heat a little bit, whether it's guilt or whatever, because 10 months after they raised the $400K, like right before Johnny realizes, because he learned around Labor Day.
Yeah.
So this is now August. We see the text or the Facebook message to Shitty Mark.
Yeah, from Johnny.
And Johnny's like, I really think we need to talk. There's a lot of questions being asked. I'm also like not really seeing any of this money. I want to bail. I'm out.
Yeah.
So you can like put me on a bus and watch me go. What he's saying is like, I'm not a threat to you, Mark. I'm not going to say the truth.
Yeah.
But like, I want out because this is really not worth it for me, especially since you kept the $325,000 and gave me $75,000 when you saw fit, Mark.
Right. And so Mark writes back to him, I'll get there this weekend, and when I do, you get on a bus, no bullshit. Mark is essentially threatening him.
Yeah. Mark thinks he's a mafia boss, and he is not.
But it's the whole thing is like Mark is just taking advantage of Johnny because he knows Johnny has no recourse.
Absolutely.
You know?
But the big joke is that like 6 weeks later, Johnny was on the news.
Right.
So great.
Right.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, Mark.
Yeah.
Now we meet Danny Gordon, the former VP for Trust and Policy at GoFundMe. He was in charge of making sure that things like this don't happen. Now, I assumed former because of this scam, but no.
No?
He has a LinkedIn, of
Oh
course.
my God, of course.
He was in that position until 2019. Then he was promoted to Chief Business Officer, and then he had that position for a year and 7 months, and now he works at some other company.
Yeah.
So he didn't get fired from this.
No, because when you watch a documentary like this, you're like, why doesn't this happen every day? This should happen way more often.
Right.
And he actually says,
It's very hard, actually, to commit a broad-scale fraud like they did. You have to be willing to lie to your close friends and family, and to national media, and expose yourself. And the risk that somebody will catch on at some point in time is very high.
you've got to be willing to like go on Oprah and lie about it.
Right.
Because like, of course, if your story is going to be, we saved the man experiencing homelessness, of course the press is going to be knocking your door down.
But also the 14,000 angry people who know they've been scammed. So now you have a corporation, GoFundMe, with an army of 14,000 pissed off people, as they should be. And I do want to say, because they just sort of sprinkle it in, everyone got their money back.
Yeah, I mean, GoFundMe paid everybody back because the big fear here was that people were going to realize that donations like this to strangers wasn't safe, and then no one's going to donate on GoFundMe anymore. And so I think GoFundMe needed to squash that.
And they did.
Yes.
So they gave people back the money, just good faith.
Yeah.
And they also made some changes.
Yes.
So they changed the rules about when more than one person was raising money, either you can or can't do that, or there are specific rules.
Yeah.
And then also when the money is going to someone other than the person running the campaign, there are rules in place for that too.
Yes.
So now Mark and Kate are in the middle of a huge legal battle, and instead of dealing with it, they decide to shop a book and a movie deal around.
So what is the name of the book? They do this whole thing of oh, you're not going to believe the name of the book. And then I was like, wait, is the name of the book Caught in a $400,000 Hoax?
It's No Good Deed.
Okay, because...
but it's not clear because I think Scott's you know what, they should name that book? No Good Deed.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't know what it actually, I don't think the book ever got made.
Well, no, but I think what they're trying to say is that if the title was No Good Deed, Mark wants it to be I tried to do this nice thing. And
I can't
trouble.
do anything. I'm so persecuted.
No, Mark, you idiot. What it actually means is there was no good deed.
There was no good deed. There was no good deed. Now we hear the absolute worst version of Oh Holy Night in the history of the world.
On your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices.
It is fucking terrible. It goes on for 10 minutes. It is atrocious.
Oh my God.
Whoever
I know.
made this song, you need to stop doing this.
Because
get out of that business.
It's 10 minutes of in the end of what happened. I was how do we have 10 minutes left and we're going to the on-screen?
Will you back me up with that
No,
song?
it was really bad.
Horrifying. The whistling and this song, I just was really up against it today.
No, it was really bad.
No bears?
They really put us through.
What?
I know.
I didn't even get the name of that dog.
I know.
I was really screwed today. So here are some updates because it ends with they await sentencing or whatever. So Johnny got supervised probation for 3 years, so he never served a day in prison.
Oh, that's good.
And he has to pay $25,000. Mark is serving a state prison sentence of 5 years and a concurrent 27-month federal prison sentence.
Wow.
Kate lost her state job. She was working at the Department of Transportation because of all the criminal case, and now she's been in federal prison for a year plus 1 day.
Oh my God.
And her state sentence is pending. And Kate and Mark have to pay it all back.
All $400,000?
Yeah, I guess minus 25.
Oh my God.
But it says they were ordered to pay full restitution.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it ends with all the lawyers being who was the mastermind? Was it Mark? Was it Kate? And Kate's a dog person, so which is great. And was Kate abused? 1,000%. Mark is a bully and he's an abuser and he's a terrible person. So I don't know, but Kate, those text messages. Kate, I'll keep the rest of my money. Fuck you very much. And then she shushed her friend.
I know. I would, for the record, never shush you.
This friend has screenshotable proof. Screenshots live forever, Kate.
Bye.
My goodness.
Oh my God, girl, we did it. What's it called?
It's called No Good Deed.
Oh, right.
A crowdfunding holiday heist.
Should I make a gay Hallmark movie called Snow Good Deed?
If it's not already taken.
Okay, you're right.
What's the story? You're
I don't know.
You're
I'll
in publishing and you have to go to your
totally
from the big bad world of fast-paced New York City life. And then you get stranded in your hometown.
Yeah.
And then the only thing to drive is a four-wheeler or something. Yes. But then you decide to open, you're just wow, that fast-paced life, I'm so tired. Maybe I'll open a bookstore, gay bar or something.
Totally.
The four-wheeler.
Oh my God, see, there we go.
There. We'll do it.
Fam, come see me on my traveling book party. I'm going to 11 cities.
I'll be there in New York.
I know it's going to be Boston, New York, Dallas, Seattle, Los Angeles, Chicago. I'm going everywhere.
Okay, great.
Come see me. It's going to be a super fun party, and every ticket includes a copy of the book as soon as it comes out. It gets mailed to you.
Fantastic.
Also, fam, pre-Christmas Obsessed Fest tickets are on sale. They are going very, very, very fast.
Come join us, won't you?
Dallas, October. It's going to be incredible. Do you have anything to say?
No, but I'm doing that Taylor Swift immersive sing-along again, obviously. You have a whole new album?
Oh my God. Join us on the Patreon. Over 350 full ad-free bonus episodes.
So fun. We're recording Woodstock right now. Woodstock
I can't
99.
wait.
We're
Oh my
in the middle
God.
of it.
All that video content, so much stuff.
So much.
What are we doing next?
We are doing, oh my God, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
The most hated man on the internet.
Oh, shit.
So it's 3 eps. We're going to do it in 2. Sometimes we do that. It's a lot. If you have not watched it, it's very visually triggering. It stressed me out a lot.
It's about the guy who created
this horrible site. They call it revenge porn, but it's really just about the darkest point of the internet and how he was taken down and how we need better laws.
Yes, okay, great.
About all that. But yeah, so it's 3 eps. We're going to do it in 2.
Yeah. All right, well, stay tuned for the trailer for that, our funny and hilarious and ridiculous and angry outtakes. And that's it. We love you.
All right, we love you. Thanks so much.
All right, bye.
Bye.
I woke up. You wake up, you look at your phone. 200 notifications.
There it was, topless, multiple photos. It was an absolute shock.
Shit, I got posted on the site.
IsAnyoneUp.com. I felt violated.
Humiliation. That site was about destroying lives. Who would create a website like this?
This is Hunter Moore from IsAnyoneUp.com. Fucking all your girlfriends.
Hunter Moore, also known as the most hated man on the internet.
And his website is Anyone Up. Me and my friends would just post a bunch of girls, and I was like, yo, I can make money out fucking people over.
He thought of himself as the king of revenge porn.
He made it appear that you would be very successful by being a complete sociopath on the internet.
And it pissed me off.
I pleaded with him to please remove these images, and the response that I got, LOL.
Has there been any individual you've just felt sorry for to the point that you take something down?
No, it's just too much fun.
But the one thing he didn't anticipate was Charlotte laws.
What's it called?
It's called True Crime Obsessed. Welcome. You have a Patreon if you're interested.
Terrible title. It does not tell you anything about what we do.
Horrible title.
It's a great title for a lot of reasons. We've never really addressed this before.
Yeah, but we have together,
right.
But not publicly. No, it's a bad name.
It's a bad name.
It's not great.
Because honestly, when we decided to make a true crime podcast, we had no idea what it was going to be.
Right. It was going to be something else entirely.
Well, but it was going to be the true crime genre. We're like, let's just get that. See, that domain name's available. It was.
And it was, and here we are. 6 years later, we're apologizing.